Hi, fans of high quality entertainment. So, I'm going to do a review for the Revolver Super Deluxe Stereo version 2022 remix. And I've started up my Patreon page again, so there will be a link below if you want to listen to the full album along with me. And so on YouTube, obviously, I can't play the music. But if you join my Patreon, then you can listen along with me. And I'll be doing other video reactions and album reactions in the very near future. So let's start with Taxman. And then also I will talk a little bit about the bonus tracks too. So first up is Taxman. So that was Taxman. And by the way, I've listened to this album, I think, four times already. So this is my fifth listen, but I've heard Taxman even more because it was released early. And it's just a great remix. It's nothing too extreme. It's just everything is more separated. George's vocals are brought up in the mix, and it just sounds great. So Taxman is a thumbs up. Now on to Eleanor Rigby. So that for me was perfect. Uh, I love, also, as some of you remember, even in the 2009 remaster, when Paul's vocal comes in, it's really annoying because at one point it's on the one side, and then, halfway through just the start of him singing, it comes into the. No, no. Does it come into. I don't know. Whichever way it came in, either center and goes. Yeah, I think it was in the center, then it goes to the left or right. It was really annoying. And now that's fixed. When his vocal comes in, it's centered. I love the cellos or whatever they are on each side. It's just beautiful the way it's panned. So a double thumbs up for that. Now on to I'm Only Sleeping. I'm gonna mute my microphone because so you don't hear me during the song playing. I just hope I remember to turn it back on. I remember to turn my microphone back on. Uh, yeah, once again, nothing too extreme with the remix, at least to my ears. And remember, I'm not an audiophile. I'm not an expert on sound quality. I'm just a regular listener with headphones. uh, and I just recently got like a negative comment on my Revolver unboxing about the mix. So if I remember, I'll put it here and you can read it while I listen to Love You Too. But yeah, his yawn, like it's still a very spacey, dreamy mix with you can really hear John's yawn a lot clearer. And just the vocals are brought up in the mix subtly. It's not like too much, right? And it's just a gorgeous song. And a double all three songs so far are double thumbs up. Just so good. And I always liked the song, but it was never one of my favorites. But the way it's remixed, Giles has the sitar, so it's not so uh, jarring. Like on the 2009 remaster, it was just too loud, and it kind of took away from the song because the sitars were so up front. And now with this new remix, it's like everything's evened out, and you can even hear more details in the sitars. I love the double tracked George Harrison vocals on each side. Uh, and it's just, and I've also, watching other reviews of this remix, people that didn't care for this song and some other songs, because of this remix, it's the songs like this have a new appreciation, including me. Two thumbs up. I'm going to complain about something. You got to complain about something at some point. So this is Here, There, and Everywhere. Yeah, I love the subtle finger snaps. And some people, I mean, I've heard the Revolver album hundreds of times through the years, but I can't compare what I'm hearing now. I guess I don't have the memory for it or whatever. So maybe, like the finger snaps are louder in the 2009 mix remaster. I don't know. But it just sounds so good to me. The background vocals are brought up. And even the guitar, uh, I don't even remember it like I do hearing it with fresh ears with this 2002, 2022 mix. It's gorgeous. I love it. Two thumbs up. Yellow Submarine. Once again, uh, the remix is nothing. It's not. Oh my God, it's so different. It's just everything is improved, and I love in the chorus you can really pick out the separate. Uh, the Beatles singing separately. And I love John's, the crew and all that. You can really hear John's, especially John's, what he's saying in the middle and on the side and everything. It's just this is going to be basically a pretty boring review. Like I said, I'm not a audiophile or anything. I I I just personally, if there might be a complaint coming up. I don't know. Something that I'm not happy with. I'll let you know. I'm just being totally honest that I love everything I've heard, and this will definitely be my go-to because the other one, with a lot of the vocals on one side, and I listen to headphones a lot. Maybe it wouldn't be as bad with a stereo system, and you're not just sitting in front of the stereo. You're off doing something. But excellent remix so far. This is She Said, She Said. Now, this song, the very first time I heard the remix, and I had read reviews about, oh, she said, it was like it's the the ones, the song that stood out the most. And so the very first time I heard it, I was like kind of shocked. It's like because it's definitely the one remix that's really remixed, and I'm still kind of getting used to it. And I it's almost like there's points where the guitar is missing in the mix, but I'd have to go back and listen to the older version of this. But that being said, it is such a damn good song. I don't care. I still love this remix of it. It's just so different, and I love that point where John sings "When I Was a Boy." Just one of my many favorite Beatles moments for vocals. But yeah, that I think is the one song on the whole album that to my ears is remixed the most, and I have watched other reviewers like Joe Mayo and Andrew Dixon saying about this song how I don't think they're happy with it, or they need to listen to it more. And the first time I wasn't impressed with it, but later listens you kind of get used to this mix, and then like I said, the song is great to begin with. So I'm happy with it. Two thumbs up. Now for good. Sorry. Now for Good Day Sunshine. This might be. It's not my favorite song on the album, but it might be one of my favorite remixes so far because it's so much better than the previous version of the song. And I also love that there's a little where you can hear John in the background just subtly saying "yep" or whatever he's saying, and you can still hear that. It's not too much louder in the mix, but I'm glad they kept that little bit in. Uh, yeah, it's so much smoother overall. The stereo mix is just gorgeous. 2 thumbs up. And Your Bird Can Sing is next. So I'm just, like I said, I kind of forget about the earlier version of the songs and listening to it. But that guitar riff, which is awesome, on the 2009 remaster, isn't it like you can hear two good? I know it's supposed to be John and George playing that riff together, but it just sounds like one riff in this song. But sounds great. And what I really notice and love about this song, and in fact, all of Revolver, Ringo's Starr is the greatest. You can really, the drums are much louder in this mix in a good way, like it's not overbearing or anything. Uh, just so good. Ringo just kills it on this whole album. All of the Beatles kill it. All of the Beatles, they're already right here at the top. And with this, at least for me with this remix, they're the toppermost of the topperest. Next up is For No One. What a gorgeous song. And to think, when Paul wrote that, he was, 24 years old. And when I was 24 years old, I wasn't writing for no one or yesterday. I was playing Nintendo. So yeah, I love how separate everything is. The keyboards, just all of the music, and then his vocals up front, nice and crisp and clear. Yeah, and so next is Dr. Robert, and in case you haven't heard me tell this little story before, I'm Canadian, so when Revolver came out in 1966, we were missing 3 John Lennon songs. We were missing I'm Only Sleeping, And Your Bird Can Sing, and Dr. Robert. They were on Yesterday and Today. And so it took me a long time to get used to having those 3 songs on Revolver. I'm finally kind of used to it now. Because, the first few times you'd hear it, it'd say, hey, that song's from Yesterday and Today. What's it doing on Revolver? And yeah, another memory for me with Dr. Robert coming up is, the well, well, well part. I remember me and my older brother Don, we'd be face to face listening to this song, and we'd have the stupid thing, well, 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 you're feeling fine. Well, 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 we'll make you. Brings back good memories. No, but yeah. And I've also, with the reviews for this remix, once again, some people were not big fans of Dr. Robert. I've always loved the song. But with this new remix, they've become fans of this. And like I said, love you too, and George Harrison, I want to tell you. Yeah, I also love how the song fades out, but you can hear it ending too. Like, yeah, it's pretty cool. But I love when you hear Paul and John, of course, singing together. It's one of the greatest things in music, as far as I'm concerned. And there's even points where John's vocals are so brought up in the mix, you can really hear like his lower register, like more than you ever could before. It's like being right there in the studio with the Beatles. 2 thumbs up for everything. Now, I want to tell you is, let me see here. Yeah, it was probably my least favorite. I don't think I even really cared for the song. And then in the last few years, I do like it a lot. But with this new remix, like some others have said, because of this remix, everything's evened out. George's vocals are brought up. It is awesome. Yeah, and I always used to kind of hate the end of that song with Paul because it sounded like he was singing out of tune. But what he was doing was kind of a tribute to, I guess, George and the Indian, doing a kind of an Indian vocal on that. I love I just watched another, another review for this album yesterday from, I forget her name, but she gave it a very good review. But this was one song she didn't care for, and she didn't like the keyboard in it. I love the keyboard. So, yeah, two thumbs up. Two songs to go. Got to Get You Into My Life, which is about marijuana. Don't tell anybody. Here we go. Once again, great remix. And the Beatles were, they, because, later on in the 60s, there was like Chicago with horns, the Buckinghams. There was a band Chase with Bill Chase on trumpet, Blood, Sweat, and Tears. So the Beatles, I know, they were doing kind of a Motown kind of a vibe for this song, but they're a rock band and they have horns and everything. So they were one of the first even for that, I believe. Uh, yeah, Paul's vocals are so good on that, and the guitar when it comes in is up front and loud and grungy. I love it. Uh, One more to go before we get into the outtakes and everything. I'll just quickly go through those so I don't bore you too much more. So this is a song called Tomorrow Never Knows, which is, I think, still, it's my second favorite song. My favorite song of all time is A Day in the Life, and Tomorrow Never Knows is probably number two, but maybe it's number one. I don't know. So, nothing radical with that remix. It's just that, the panning, the stereo panning is just really well done by Giles. Like, I love the way he did the mix, and like I said, the panning of all the weird stuff going on, the loops and everything. Uh, John's vocals are still, you know, they're not too upfront in the mix to take away from the dreamy quality of the whole song for me. This is just my opinion. uh, but the thing is, I was thinking too, while listening to this, you know, some people that just bash the whole album, right? Just, oh, it's a terrible remix and all that. I almost want to insult them and say they're idiots, but I won't. I'll just think it. uh, but I am really, 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 really happy with the remix by Giles Martin. It is probably, I think, I actually think it's my favorite remix so far. Yeah. My least favorite would be Abbey Road. It's still great, but Abbey Road was, it was done on 8-track and everything, and it sounded great to begin with. But, it's still fun to listen to the remix. And then the White Album is great, and some songs like Helter Skelter, I think Giles Martin kind of didn't do that great of a job on. But for Revolver, I am super happy with it. The only song, like I said, I kind of question is She Said, She Said. I'll go back and listen to the earlier remaster of it and compare them. But for now, I'm just gonna enjoy the whole remix. So quickly going through the bonus tracks. Tomorrow Never Knows, take one. I'll play a little bit of each song. So I remember the first time I heard this song on the anthology series, the very first time I heard this, take one, I thought, oh my God, that's terrible. I'm glad they, they improved on it. But now, but even with further listens, I really enjoyed it. And now with this, it's being even clearer and a tad longer. If this was released, like I'm glad they released the song that we know, but even if this was released, it would be thought of as maybe even more radical. And I think it's as incredible as the one that we know and love. It's just totally different. The drums, it's like the whole song's in a vacuum, and it is just incredible. So the other songs, Got to Get You Into My Life, Paul's vocals. There's one that is just without the horns, it's with the guitar. It is amazing. It's one of my favorites of the bonus tracks. Love You Too with George singing it acoustically with an acoustic guitar. Uh, and he sounds so, even the Count-In and all that, he sounds so confident. It's like and he has 3 songs on this album, right? It's like even John and Paul are realizing, hey, he's coming into his own as a songwriter. And it sounds like in his voice, he's got the confidence too. And then other takes. Paperback Writer is great, the music. Now, probably my favorite of the 2 CDs is Rain, Take 5, the actual speed. Like a lot of you out there, when you first hear it, it's like, hey, they sped it up too much. What's going on here? But it's incredible. And Ringo on the drums. People were impressed with his drumming on Rain, but most of us knew that it was slowed down. But we never realized he was drumming that fast. And then, of course, Paul's bass is incredible too. So it's just amazing. And then, yeah, Dr. Robert's great. The only thing, the studio talk is fun to listen to once or twice. But then it's like, I almost wish the studio chatter was on a separate disc and it was just the songs, so you don't have to skip anything. But it's still fun. Andrew Bird can sing. I know that Joe Mayo doesn't like the laughing, giggling one, but we're all different. I really enjoy it. Every time I hear it, you can hear the Beatles' humor. I don't know if they smoked something funny or taken some pills, or they're just being they could have been just in a silly mood, right? And it's just fun to hear them laughing. I never get tired of that. It's always fun to listen to. And then Taxman, Take 11. Yeah, I'm Only Sleeping. Eleanor Rigby without the vocals, just the strings. John Lennon doing, that was a biggie for a lot of us Beatles fans because we used to think Paul McCartney basically wrote probably 90% of Yellow Submarine and gave it to Ringo, or maybe 100%. But John did Paul wrote the chorus, and I guess John wrote the medley for it, or whatever you want to call it, and changed the lyrics. Maybe Paul changed the lyrics to happy lyrics, but it started off as a pretty sad song. In the town I was born, no one cared, no one cared. But we did care, John. We did. And I Want to Tell You, Here, There, and Everywhere is gorgeous. John's demo of She Said, She Said. Yeah, I enjoy. And then the backing track for She Said, She Said. I love the way it ends too, with a crazy couple of seconds at the end. But yeah, the bonus material, the White Album bonus material is my favorite. This is my second favorite for bonus material. And then, of course, Paperback Writer, the single, and Rain, the stereo versions are just as incredible for me as the remixed Revolver. The mono, I listened to some of it yesterday. I'm not a big fan of mono, and I listen to music on headphones anyway. But I will say that Tomorrow Never Knows is crazy. Even more loops in it or whatever, and that's kind of freakier in a way. But I do prefer the stereo overall. So that's it. That's my review for Revolver Super Deluxe, the remix and the bonus tracks. Obviously, it sucked. Not happy. Yeah. Yeah, I'm very happy and hoping that they get to Rubber Soul. Giles Martin can take a little break for a week or two and then get back on and get back into the studio and remix Rubber Soul. And then, of course, it's going to be great if they can remix all of the early mono albums and get them into stereo. And that is it. Thank you for watching. And if there's any patrons watching, thank you for becoming a member. I really appreciate it. Bye.